Hello and welcome back to another video. This is actually a two-part video because as you can see, this article, realistic offseason trades NBA fan bases wouldn't see coming. You got the title or the little thing right here with Gordon Hayward. Usually that means that you know the team is attached to one of these trades. I haven't actually looked at the article because I like giving a raw reaction. And then we got this other article, NBA teams that will be low-key 2021 free agent destinations, and we got LaMelo right here. So I thought I'd give a reaction to what these Bleacher Report articles have. So let's get right into it. So the Hawks and Bulls swap prospects. So we got these prospects. I don't even know what that word means, but Kobe White and Cam Reddish are getting traded. For the Hawks to get Kobe White, he'd be a bench piece for them, right? Behind Trae Young. I don't see him playing at the the 2 position because they do have Bogdanovich there. So that doesn't really make sense. And they're trading away 2 second-round picks with Cam Reddish. For the Bulls, I think Cam Reddish would be amazing. Who plays at their 2 spot, actually? Because Zach LaVine is he plays as a 3, doesn't he? But I can look at their depth chart right here to really see. So yeah, he does play at the 2. So I guess because I don't see it, they trade Kobe White away. It's crazy. Tomas Satoransky is starting over him. Where does Cam Reddish play in this lineup? I mean, he'd be off the bench because he can't play point guard. So this doesn't make a lot of sense for both teams, if I'm gonna be honest. Why wouldn't the Bulls want a point guard in return if they're trading away Kobe White? It just doesn't make sense. But let's get on with it. Clippers get their shot creator. Celtics land their center. This is interesting. We have the Clippers getting Kemba Walker and Tristan Thompson for Zubac, Beverly, and Kennard. It's crazy to see Kemba Walker's value just plummet. And it's crazy how we got, what did we get, a first-round pick with Terry for Kemba, and now they're trading away Kemba and a decent center. I mean, I would have Tristan Thompson over Cody Zeller any day in exchange for a guy that is, one-dimensional as just a defensive guy, which is okay, is fine. Above-average center and a young, promising player off the bench. So it's just crazy to see Kemba's value diminish. So for the Clippers, they get Kemba. That's not really a big 3. That's probably a big 2.5. For the Celtics, their depth kind of took a turn for the worse. Not getting really anything in return besides that player option for Gordon Hayward. I mean, they ended up with Evan Fournier with that player exception that they got from Hayward, but they need more guys off the bench. I mean, is what I'm really getting at. So I guess that's a fine trade. It's just crazy to see Kemba's value, I guess. So Warriors get big 4. Hornets find building block big man. And we have the picture of Gordon Hayward right here. What is this trade? Gordon Hayward and PJ Washington for Andrew Wiggins. Oh my God. And James Wiseman. So Gordon Hayward, a little bit, I wouldn't say he was almost an all-star because there was Tobias Harris that wasn't an all-star. Trae Young, who probably deserved it more than Hayward did, even though Hayward's carrying his team while Trae Young at that time they were the Hawks. I mean, were not really in playoff contention, and Tobias Harris is the 3rd best player on the 76ers, but basically an all-star player. And Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, which I made a whole video about his potential being traded away for an overpaid. I wouldn't say one-dimensional because this year he's kind of shown how he can give that offensive ability and defensive ability. And James Wiseman, which he's kind of proved himself, but kind of hasn't. So what would our lineup look without Gordon Hayward and PJ Washington? Who would start at the 3? I'm guessing Miles Bridges, who would start at the 4. I mean, Andrew Wiggins. I mean, you can flip-flop Miles Bridges and Andrew Wiggins, but Jesus Christ, this is a bad trade. Oh, my God. I would take Gordon Hayward over Andrew Wiggins, so that's 1 out of 2. And I would take P.J. Washington over James Wiseman. So, obviously, you got James Wiseman's potential, but, oh, man, that is a bad trade. What is their reasoning behind this? I mean, for the Warriors' sake, this is an excellent trade. You obviously would need to find a center then, but Jesus, for the Hornets, where do they say for the Hornets this would be okay? As for Charlotte, this club has been legitimately fun and might be able to skirt around in the playoff tournament. I mean, we're the 5th seed in the East, so I would hope so. But if the Hornets have title contention in the future, it will be because of Melo, the organization's rock star rookie, blah, blah, blah. Grabbing Wiseman as Ball's pick and roll dance partner for the next decade. I mean, that is true that that would be a good duo, but also PJ Washington is having a great year, and he's shown very high potential. So I don't know about that trade, man. I don't if it was a Gordon Hayward for James Wiseman swap, yeah, I'd do that. I'd do that. Pelicans find front court mate for Zion. Wolves, oh man, what is this? Karl Anthony Towns to the Pelicans and Ricky Rubio. For the Timberwolves, they would get Adams, Bledsoe, Lewis, Hayes, and what is that? 3 firsts? Jeez. Okay, let's just think about this. So, big 3, like legitimate big 3 in New Orleans. You got Towns, Zion. Just think of that. Just think of that duo between Towns and Zion. You got, I mean, it's unconventional. You got a 6'6" guy down low and a center to spread the floor in like a 7'1" center that can spread the floor for Zion. You got Ricky Rubio who can pass the ball to Zion, and then you got Brandon Ingram out there as well. That is, I mean, Lonzo Ball, if they bring him back, I don't know if they have the money if they would actually do this trade. For the Timberwolves, as it's set up here, full reset mode. Steven Adams probably make the contracts work. Eric Bledsoe won't be on your team in the next 2 years. Lewis, haven't seen much of him. Jackson Hayes, athletic, can maybe be something in the future. Those three picks, I mean, 2021 first, top 5 protected. That's going to be, a top 15 pick because I don't think the Pelicans are in the playoffs as of right now. 2021 first round pick via LA. Okay. 8 through 30 protected. So then you're getting 2 seconds down the line and a 2025 first round pick, which could be valuable if Giannis decides he's sick of not winning championships. But all in all, this is, I mean, the Timberwolves are getting fleeced if they did this trade. I mean, like 2 young guys, 2 guys who won't be there in 2 years due time. 1 first, and a first round pick that's going to be in 20s. Maybe if the Bucks are bad, it's going to be earlier, but Jesus. Okay. So that's going to do it for this article. And I said it's a 2-for-1 video, so we got another article to react to. I know this video is going to be kind of long, but bear with me here because you guys are watching it right now. So NBA teams that will be low-key 2021 free agent destinations. Obviously, we got LaMelo right here, so it sparked my interest just a little bit. So we do have the Charlotte Hornets as the first team here. We love to see it. Does it give any players, or is it just going to talk about Charlotte could sit $26 million below the cap line besides based on the predictions? Yeah, I mean, it depends who we re-sign. I mean, we're not going to have $26 million below the cap if we re-sign the 2 players that I mentioned in my one video right after the trade line in Monk and Graham. If we re-sign them, we'll have $6 million in cap, which isn't great. He talks about our rookie and LaMelo Ball. That's pretty much the same. Beyond Ball, the Hornets have a former All-Star who was almost an All-Star, as I already referenced in this video. But yeah, the Charlottes should be a free agency destination. I don't know if it's going to be low key because I think everybody and their mother knows that we need a center. So I've heard a lot of Rashard Holmes rumors. I was going to make a video about it, but maybe I'll make a video. I've heard a lot of other rumors about, not bringing Terry Rozier back, or not Terry Rozier, Devontae Graham back. And yeah, Memphis Grizzlies with Ja Morant and Jared Jackson Jr., who has not played a single game this year. I think he's back soon, but Jesus Christ, like this man has been out like 2 seasons in a row. For Memphis, they're another one of those teams that don't have much money on the books. I'm trying to think of a player that they're paying a lot. I mean, Kyle Anderson might be making a lot of money, but other than that, I can't think of someone who is making a lot of money for them. So yeah, that's a pretty obvious. Like, I'm trying to think of who would want to go to the Grizzlies because it's going to be a little bit till they actually get good. It all depends on this man right here, Ja Morant, which I don't know how much. Like, I would say LaMelo Ball has a way higher ceiling than Ja Morant does as of right now. But we'll see in due time how good Ja Morant could be. His sophomore season hasn't been the greatest step in towards being a star. But I think he's still a good player. I mean, does it show his stats right here? I mean, stats aren't everything, but averaging 17 and 7 this year, it's not terrible. Toronto Raptors as a free agent destination is interesting because they have a weird timeline. They're pretty old, and people don't realize how old Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet are. I mean, Fred VanVleet's already 27, 28. Basically in his prime. Pascal Siakam is near the same age. Gary Trent Jr., that trade where they traded away Norman Powell and got Gary Trent Jr. Was an excellent trade toward being this free agency destination and getting a young guy that they can kind of build around. I wouldn't say he's he's a 4th best guy on a championship team in Gary Trent Jr. So as a free agency destination, I forgot to mention OG Anunoby. I don't know how many players want to play in, over the border. But okay, they like most of these teams now that I'm realizing is just teams that have cap space that could land someone. But as NBA fans have seen that most of these guys that were going to be here in the 2021 offseason are not there anymore. Giannis re-signed. Drew Holiday re-signed. I'm trying to think of other big-name players. Kawhi Leonard was rumored to re-sign with the Clippers. Now there's talks about him in Golden State, which is crazy. And now we got the Pelicans. Well, I didn't finish my one thought, which was, how many good free agents are left besides Kawhi Leonard? Not much. But let's go on to the Pelicans, which were, we saw this trade right here, have some cap space flexibility. It'll be interesting what they do with Lonzo Ball. I was a firm believer that he was going to get traded at the deadline, but that wasn't the case. They wanted to keep him around, which is okay. It's just, what do you expect to do in the rest of this year? Because you guys are fringe playoffs, which is crazy when you have these 3 players that are playing every night. Zion has barely missed games. If he does, it's for rest or some petty injury. It's not like he's missing 10 games in a row. And they've been injury riddled as of late, but it's crazy that they're the 11th seed in the West, which the West is good. I bet they'd be like a top 8 team in the East, but I mean, I expected them to at least make the playoffs easily, and they're not even doing that. So it's frustrating, I bet, for Zion to average 27, for Brandon Ingram to be the star who didn't make the All-Star game, but Lonzo is having a great year. For them not even to make the playoffs, it's an insane thought to have. But I think out of these 4 teams, Charlotte's a little bit too young for a real destination to occur. But out of these 4 teams, if I was a free agent, if I averaged like 20 plus points in the NBA, I would want to go to the Pelicans for sure. But that's gonna do it for me. If you like this video, subscribe, like, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys later.